Cheating in Call of Duty has been in the forefront of the discussion since 2019 and the introduction of crossplay, and more so the introduction of the free-to-play Warzone experience. It was awful back in Verdansk, but arguably, it's getting back to that point again recently in Urzikstan, Rebirth, and even the paid Black Ops 6 experience where Ranked is plagued with cheaters. The big difference between those experiences, though, from 2019 and 2020 to where we are now is that now we have an anti-cheat that should be preventing it, except it's very clearly not. Yesterday, the Ricochet team provided a bit of an update and a roadmap of sorts for some key changes coming and what that means for the future. So today, I want to discuss that with you. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 and other FPS coverage. We'd love to have you in the community as we chase down 700,000 subscribers, but anyways, let's get into it. So this update from the Ricochet team, bear with me, it's kind of a long one here, goes as follows. Since Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was released in October, the anti-cheat team and development studios have been working on various updates to help prevent, identify, and remove cheaters. The anti-cheat systems performed well during the Black Ops 6 launch window, and as a result, the teams shifted focus to preparations for Season 1. After a series of updates, our systems are in a better place today across all modes. However, we did not hit the mark for the integration of Ricochet anti-cheat at the launch of Season 1, particularly for ranked play. Here's what we've done. Upgrades and accounts. Account bans are now happening hourly due to increased velocity from several Ricochet anti-cheat systems. This in addition to the over 19,000 accounts we've removed recently. These updates to our systems mean enforcement response times are now quicker than they have ever been. Leaderboards. The cleanup process has been updated for faster synchronization of leaderboard changes, and investigations where they've significantly expanded their replay investigation render farm. The machines used to generate clips for examination. We've also ramped up a group dedicated to manually reviewing clips based on a priority orders that favors detections. In the last several weeks, the replay tool updates have been highly effective at validating detection and reports, providing further training for AI systems for the anti-cheat team and removing cheaters. Our focus is ramping up speed of enforcement when cheaters do make it through the initial checks, which eliminates many bad actors before they make it into the game. We use a series of systems that include human reviews, kernel driver detections to block memory tampering, client-side and server-side detections to flag suspicious behavior, and AI systems to get illicit accounts out of the game as quickly as possible. Looking forward, the team is developing major updates for Ricochet anti-cheat systems, including our kernel-level driver and brand new server-side protections launching during Season 2 and Season 3. More on those updates as we get closer to those season launches. And, as always, please report cheaters you see in-game. We use these reports in our investigations into new and emerging cheats, and we appreciate your efforts to raise these flags for us. So, a lot of stuff to digest there that initially can just be kind of waved off as a PR statement like, hey, we're there. And of course, the big thing that naturally and rightfully everybody is mentioning is the explicit mention of we missed the mark. Seems to be a common thing when sort of addressing the community in recent years. But there's a few things that I feel like really need to be broken down here at this and examined a little bit further that honestly present maybe even more questions than answers. The first of which being that everything here is clearly reactionary. Could be a number of different reasons. I get anti-cheat is almost never going to be 100% preventative in nature. But as we've said since 2019, Call of Duty is too reactive, not proactive. Like those things talking about the hourly sweeps for cheaters, that's great and all that it's now faster than it's ever been, but clearly still needs a lot of work. In theory, that's where that kernel level driver should make an impact. And listen, I am absolutely nowhere near qualified to talk about the intricacies of kernel level drivers and an anti-cheat, how that affects your overall systems. Sure, it brings up the notion of a deeper rooted discussion, no pun intended, on privacy, but in sheer discussion from combating cheaters, that is, in theory, what should be the best at being proactive that we've seen thus far. Noticing any cheats installed from the get-go as soon as your PC is booted up, rather than detecting on an in-application use basis. But the point stands, up until this point, everything has been far too reactive, not proactive. The next thing that I want to bring up here is the timing of all of this, because they basically said, we know it's chalked, it's gonna be chalked for a little longer. At earliest for these like deeper updates to the anti-cheat itself, Season 2 is still 43 days away. Season 3 would be like 100 days away. And listen, while I don't doubt that people who work on this aren't working, like in the gaming landscape that's laid off so many people in the industry in the past 2 to 3 years, you really think that people will be employed sitting on their hands all day? Like, yes, people are working, but I almost feel like announcing those dates does like more harm than good, because why not sooner? To me, it almost feels like we're seeing a commitment to fixing the game for Verdansk's return, not an immediate playability of the game, kind of like, despite this being the start of new integration with Season 1 and the post-launch year of Black Ops 6's content support, that we're still like in that Season 5, Season 6 mindset of, oh, well, we're working on the next thing. You can play the game, but don't expect too much upkeep of the game. That's where it kind of feels like to me, and it's just kind of fascinating, to put it lightly. I absolutely do think Call of Duty is putting a ton of eggs in the Verdansk basket when it comes to Warzone, and that's fine. I personally don't think that we're going to see Verdansk save Warzone like so many people think it will. It's the same map that people have played on for nearly 2 years at the start, but with wholly different mechanics, different mindsets surrounding the game as a whole, different global circumstances that you're probably not using gaming to escape the reality of being stuck indoors 24/7, the different circumstances that Warzone isn't new anymore, so there's so many more demons on this game than April of 2020, and so much that will contribute to what I'm just anticipating like a week after Verdansk launches, the Twitter space, subreddits, all that are going to be mad at how Call of Duty ruined Verdansk, even when the map could be a 1-to-1 remake for all we know. The map isn't going to save Warzone to me. That's a different story for a different day, but Call of Duty clearly is putting a ton of eggs into that Verdansk basket, that timetable for when things are going to be better, I guess. But for better or for worse, that sort of course correction seems to be lining up with that timetable. I'd imagine that by Season 2 to 3 and that release that we miraculously have a ton of gameplay reverts, bug fixes and such that have been problematic since the launch of this sort of integration with Warzone, and all the problems that have since come to Black Ops 6 since that Season 1 update as well. But one of the things that I also find problematic with this statement is just the current system of flaws. One thing that I want to call back to in this blog post is the following. And as always, please report cheaters you see in-game. See, herein lies the problem. The system is being abused, so that while, yes, you can help bring a cheater to justice, the sheer amount of comments per video you'll probably see every single day here, not only just on this channel, but any Call of Duty channel as well, talking about people that have been shadow banned that are legitimate. For every one cheater that gets taken down by these in-game reports, probably another 10 legitimate players are shadow banned. Whether or not it's an "I'm gonna try and ruin this guy's day" set of reporting, or, and I mean no offense by this, just a straight up lack of knowledge on what's going on to produce a clip that may look suspect to another player. Like, a clip could look weird, but maybe a teammate had a call out. Maybe a UAV was up. Maybe that player saw you cross a certain doorway before the kill cam picked it up. Whatever the case, I'm certainly not saying that there are not cheaters out there, but there's also countless number of cases where this guy is cheating is a knee-jerk reaction, a scapegoat for something that's a logical explanation. And I say this because it's happened to me, and then I've watched back footage and I'm like, no, I'm just an idiot. And again, as evidenced by the daily comments that you might see here, just even in this comment section, it happens to a lot of players. So yes, sure, try to incentivize players to pick out those cheaters of their games, but for the love of God, fix your system in the first place if you're gonna do that. We already have a hidden elo system by the way of matchmaking, so why can't we create another one that has a hidden weight to reports or something like that? Like new accounts or accounts that are usually wrong on their reports or just trolled reporting, they have a minimal weight on the impact on if a player gets shadow banned. And then air quote trusted accounts that have more weight after getting and maybe say keeping a correct report percentage or something, that a few of those trusted reports send a player to the shadow banned lobby, but to then be manually reviewed instead of just somebody who can report every single player on the team multiple times. That doesn't have the same weight as somebody that needs to actually have their account manually reviewed. Someone can't just report and ruin your day and immediately hurt your ability to play, even if you're a legit player. It's hard to consider that after 5 years, the system seemingly hasn't been changed at all. Like, I don't think that it has been. I don't think that we've seen any of these sort of shadow ban adjustments be made where there's a weighted system to it, or at least not publicly stated. And even if it is enacted, not publicly stated, it clearly needs work. So this is one of those things that this is nice to, of course, hear that, yeah, they recognize the fault and the issues with the anti-cheat and what we have going on right now, that ranked play in particular for Black Ops 6 and in Warzone has been just detrimental since the Season 1 launch. But, I mean, at what point is it just words? Like, we need to start seeing some action here, and maybe Season 2, Season 3 does fix this kind of stuff, but I'd still love to see this before then. Because like we said, we still have 43 days left until Season 2. So we'll see, I guess, but it is one of those things that I feel like there's definitely going to stir a conversation in the community with this, but I wanted to get your feedback here on this and chat with you about a little bit of my thoughts on this statement. So that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think here of this? Do you take it at face value that there are improvements being made that have been made since Season 1, but some things just didn't hit the mark? Whatever the case, let me know your thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 6 and more FPS content. We're going to get back into some multi-game stuff here very, very soon, so hope you guys enjoyed that. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care, and peace.